It was the mid-1970s. I was at Yucca Junior High School sitting on the curb with my friend Monica. And she told me she was going to sneak out of the house and go to the Airmen's Club. I remember talking to her and saying, there are so many other ways to meet people closer to our age who are interested in you. I didn't want her to get in trouble, and I didn't want her to be put into a situation that she couldn't resolve. Fast forward, all of these years later, she says to me now, Daria, I wish I had listened to you. Now, fast forward 45 years, and I get a phone call, and it's Keisha. She says, I think I've had my first hot flash. So in my youth, I could see problems. I like to be able to find solutions, and things haven't changed. I wrote a book on perimenopause, hence Keisha listened, whereas Monica did not. But when Keisha called and said, Daria, I knew what to do. I asked her questions, and I said, were there other women in the office with you about your age? She responded, yes. I said, did any of them ask you or say to you, you might be having a hot flash? She said, no. So that is what I do, in that I help women understand in a comfortable way what's going on in their bodies. 4 months after getting married, I fell ill. So I went to the doctor because I was in tremendous pain. And the doctor said to me, you need to have a hysterectomy. My response to him was, I'm an only child of a man who's always wanted to be a grandfather. And I just married a man who has prayed to be a father since he was a child. A hysterectomy is not in the question. So during this time, I started investigating what I could do regarding my health. And I did. I found something that worked for me. Did it work for a long term? No, it didn't. But it worked long enough that I was able to start asking other women, do you know what goes on with your body? Have you planned? Has anybody spoken to you about what happens? And the majority of them said no. So did I end up having to have the hysterectomy? Yes. But I bounced back. Those 2 men that I spoke about at the beginning, my father said, I would much prefer to have you than any grandchild I don't know. And my husband said, God picked you for me, and I don't know a child that we would have. So they were the winds beneath my wing to bounce back from this period where for many women it is a difficult, difficult time. But what it did was it allowed me to reach out to other women and be able to explain the things that go on. Hence, I wrote a book, Perimenopause, What Your Mother and Girlfriends Don't Tell You. In the mid-90s, I was in my 30s in San Ramon, California, working for Pacific Bell. And then there was a merger, and we were bought out by SBC. I was called into the VP's office with my peers, the 2 other budget managers in our division. And she informed us, we've been bought out. One manager said, I'm retiring. The second manager said, I'm retiring. And they looked at me. I said, I'm not going anywhere. So what ended up being 3 people doing 3 jobs was handed to me to do it all by myself. Now, the caveat to this story is both of the managers who retired were second levels. I was a first level. I did the job well, but I never got the promotion. So I did what anyone who is desirous of promotion is I did it on my own, but I was not on my own. I applied for things that I knew that I was qualified for, and I ultimately did get a promotion. So one of the things I learned is don't do it alone, but also know who is in your corner, know who supports you, and work with them. During that journey, not only did I do the job of 3 people, but I also went to school and got a graduate degree. So I sit here and I tell you, when you're thinking, you can't do it, and you're saying, but I'm here to tell you, you can. I did. What would I tell my 21-year-old self? At 21, I was single, living in Fairfield, California, working for Anheuser-Busch, and I was stubborn. That's why I was there. But I have to take you back to my freshman year at USC, when I was called into the dean's office, and he said, "Ms. Partlow, you were such a good student of promise. What happened? You came on academic scholarship, and now at the end of your freshman year, your GPA is less than 1.0. You're academically disqualified." I told you I was stubborn, and I didn't want to go to any other school than USC. That's how I ended up at Anheuser-Busch. I decided I would work. Now, did that go the way that I wanted it to? No. But what I've learned at 21, and what I would tell my 21-year-old self is, be discerning of what others tell you. Not everyone is in your corner. 2, monitor your health. The health you have at 21 may not be the health that you have at, say, 63. And number 3, pay yourself first, because the things that you're purchasing now, unless it's something that's going to give you value over time, it's really not going to be worth it. So those are the things that I would tell my 21-year-old self, because you just never know where you will end up in life. And the things that you do, they matter. I was a keynote speaker at a conference in Atlanta, and my topic was Perimenopause Unveiled, Embracing the Journey. Now, how did I get there? Well, I'll tell you. The #1 challenge facing women is not understanding what's going on with their bodies. It not only impacts them, it impacts the boardroom, it impacts their relationships, it impacts the bedroom. So I wanted to be able to share some of the things, because we don't talk about it as women. And if we don't know and we don't talk about it, guess what? The men in our lives, they don't know either. They think we might be going crazy, but we're really not. It's hormones. So hence, Perimenopause Unveiled. In speaking with women, it's the ability to share, because if we don't talk about it, many of them didn't have aunts, they didn't have mothers who talked about it, even though it's something that they went through. So I appointed myself a perimenopause solutionist. I'm like that aunt, that girlfriend that you can trust, and that will tell you what's going on. No judgment. I've been there. I've done that. So I have an idea, and it's a safe place. So what else is going on? I want to empower women, like that old commercial. I want women to be able to tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on, and create a space and an environment where it is safe, where we can work on health, emotions, and the mental capacity. Why do people hire my company, Daria Rosen Consulting, and Age Gracefully Inside and Out? Well, let me tell you, I have had people who have purchased my book, women who have already gone through perimenopause, but they themselves have not had the conversation with their daughters and their granddaughters. So that right there is a win for me, because now they have empowered others. In addition, I've had husbands say to me, "Thank you for sharing this. Even though I've gone through it with my wife, this information would have been invaluable if I had known." So the challenges that we as families, as women face when we don't know, this is an opportunity to learn. This is an opportunity to share. And why they want to work with us is because of integrity. But not just integrity. It's, I want to talk to someone who is going to value me, someone who's not going to judge me, and someone who has been there, done that. And last but not least, to interact with them the way that I would want to be interacted with. There is nothing worse than if a woman goes to the doctor and says, "I think I'm having these symptoms," and they poo-poo it and say, "You're too young," or "No, that's not happening." You can listen to them, but you've lived in your body longer than anybody else. You know what's going on in your body. Listen to it. So come and work with us. We'll talk to you. We'll share with you. We'll empower you and those you love. I'm Daria Rosen, and I help women shake the fear, ditch the shame, and embrace the change as they graduate from their reproductive years to the next chapter of life. And I've got to tell you what I have enjoyed most about this process is taking the stories that I have lived in, the stories that I have been fearful of, that I have been ashamed of sharing with others, and sharing them with you. We were guided along this journey to take all of this information that makes me me, to share with you. It was not hand-holding completely. There is autonomy, but we were respected. It was fun, and I would recommend to any of you, if you are thinking that you want to tell your story, that this organization, headed by Shay Brown, is the one you need to use.